What's good, guys? The Novice, Big Lebowski. This is a Novice Reviews. Novice Reviews videos is basically where I just review a movie that's 20 plus years old. It has to be at least 20 to 30 plus years old, just because I want to. What are my thoughts on this movie? I'd summarize this movie in a sentence as a surreal movie, very well disguised as a slacker movie, but you don't need to understand it to get meaning from it. That's how I'd summarize this movie in a sentence. The first part about surreal meets slacker. This is definitely like you can tell inspired movies that Seth Rogen and his lot went on to make in that kind of mold. Except this just somehow felt more profound at a deeper end. And I guess that's the intention they were getting at, because when this movie starts and you see the tracking shot, it was well placed by the way. And then the tumbleweeds, that's obviously the overkill with the kind of western uh, kind of imagery, right? And then you just hear the narrator's voice, like, oh, Jeff Lebowski, this, my deep voice that makes you feel some kind of way. Yeah, just I knew immediately. Oh wait, this is more than just like a comedy. I was expecting some gems, but yeah, this is gonna be gems for me. Gems first, and then the comedy is just gonna be on the side. Because that's another thing with this movie. This movie, even though it was funny, I wasn't laughing, and I think it has to do with the fact that first and foremost, I need like energy in the room. If I'm watching something with, like, let's say my sister or with a friend, and it's comedic, then I find it funny. Unless it's like a movie that I've grown up with that I just naturally laugh out loud to. I usually don't laugh out loud if I'm watching something by myself. If I'm being authentic with something, there are things that made me laugh out loud in this movie, but it was just like thinking about things like vagina. You know what I mean? Like that line, if you know, you know. But that movie, that was funny as heck, and this other couple lines here and there, like shut the f up, Donny. Just shut the fuck up, Donny. Shut the fuck. Why you always? Yeah. Shout out to Donny, R.I.P. Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers off the roof. I don't give a damn. This movie's what, 22 years old? Who gives a damn? So this movie opens. I'm gonna go character by character. I'll start with the dude. This movie opens, and you just see the dude in the shopping center just drinking milk, and I kept thinking, because the way the camera work, the way it focuses sometimes on certain things, I keep thinking there's meant to be meaning in it, and it just turns out, oh no, it's just some mundane shit. It's just him just drinking milk. But then throughout the movie, I noticed the dude, by the way, he likes white drinks, either creamy white or just white like milk. Like at one point, someone says to him, "Oh, you don't want another Caucasian," and that's one of the few moments where I authentically, I started to giggle a little bit, like out loud. That and the vagina, because what is with that? Is that meant to be like the dude is some kind of idea, like purity, like him being so simple is what makes it. It's part of like him being so pure in mind, in spirit, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm over analyzing, and it's just I just shouldn't think about it too much. That's why it's a slacker movie, right? You're meant to get high to it. But I was completely sober, believe it or not, watching this movie, and I liked it a lot. What else about the dude? I like that when he's first introduced, for some reason, he seemed like a guy who was semi-functional, despite the fact that he was a slacker. Like, it didn't bother me. I think that's the difference between this, and I keep comparing it to like Seth Rogen, but that's only other slacker movies I know for frame of reference. I think that's the difference between this and like a Pineapple Express or some shit. When I see someone that's dressed up like the dude, I'm immediately like, oh, here we go. Even if it's funny, it's like, oh, okay, I know what I'm gonna get with this character. Yeah, it's just a box. But for some reason, like he kept saying "man" a lot, and it didn't bother me. I just found it funny throughout this movie, and that's something I like. I like that it made mundane shit still seem kind of interesting to think about, and that's another thing that I'll get to. just like a little thing. Why is it that in this movie, like there was so like they barely did anything outside of the thing with bowling, but they were so kind of into that. What made someone like the dude into bowling? I don't know whether just a hobby that he picked up or I couldn't understand it because throughout this movie there were so many other like important things, and then they'll just bring up, oh, so you're not gonna go into the championship. I think there are people that want to kill you at one point, but obviously the plot means that you find out the nihilists are on some other thing. What's his face? Mr. Lebowski was lying about his oh how he got his wealth and all that stuff, and Bonnie was definitely lying too. Maud is just weird. Everyone was just in the league of their own. Everyone was just in their own headspace. That's how it felt watching this movie. This movie is spacey as heck. I understand it's meant to be, but when I say spacey, do you know what it is? It's all the dream sequences, like when he got punched and he was floating through the sky, or when he had a dream about Saddam Hussein handing him sneakers. That was something with this movie where I was like, is this all meant to be a dream? It reminded me of Get Out, the movie Get Out, and then the movie Stepford Wives. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it exactly, but it almost feels like the dude, that's my theory about this movie. The dude is, well, it's possible by now, obviously, I'm watching it in the future. If I existed in this universe, he might be dead, the dude. But I feel like the dude is someone who wasn't even alive, was just like a legend, almost like hearing like a story in a religious book, in a scripture, or like an ancient Greek myth. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the dude is just a folk tale. The story of like the Big Lebowski. I feel like that's just a folk tale and it's like a giant dream, like Inception. Or and people will say, "Why are you overcomplicating it?" It's because this movie. There was a weird shit happening in this movie, in my opinion. That's what came to mind when I was watching it. I was like, it feels like I'm watching certain things where you see surreal stuff happen, like Stepford Wives, like Get Out, like if anyone's seen it, Twin Peaks, the TV series Atlanta, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's literally what came to mind. Like that surreal stuff was so jarring. But speaking of stuff that's jarring, Walter. Walter's up and down. He's a roller coaster to me because at first I liked Walter because he's such a opposite to the dude. The dude is a pacifist. He always goes on about Vietnam, which is one of the few things I think because John Goodman plays him, so I didn't mind it so much. But that was, as a character, it got on my nerves, but it wasn't bothering me because that I think that's the power. Shout out to John Goodman for playing this role. That was the power of him playing this role where everyone was so lovable. Even the characters I'm supposed to hate, I don't hate viscerally. I just know I don't really care for them. And the reason I didn't care for Walter is because every time he had the idea of how to help out the dude, it kept fucking up stuff for him. The ransom money, what else later on? I forget. Confronting the kids, the teenager about the car. Stuff kept backfiring, and you could tell that was just his mindset. Like he's all guns ho, and then the dude is the opposite, which is strange to me. But I guess that's the metaphor. And obviously, they kept like bringing up this idea of Vietnam, him being someone who's made by war, and this movie, I'm guessing because they referenced it, was trying to make commentary about the first Iraq War in the early 90s. So I'm guessing that was like their way of doing commentary on it. But I didn't get that because obviously it's before my time. I got that Walter is someone who's just a bit needy, and he mentions that stuff because this is my theory on Walter. I don't think he was, either he lied about the events of the Vietnam War for him, or he wasn't in Vietnam at all. because he kept going on about it. It made me think that he was doing it for attention, and not in an intention like I have PTSD, like attention. Actually, it wasn't that bad. No, actually, no. I'll stick with no. I think he kept going on about it because he just like he needs friends. He needs people to pay attention to him, not because he was making it up necessarily. Maybe he was kind of exaggerating, like his toughness. Where yeah, he just seemed like someone who yeah, just he wasn't broken. It was just someone who kept going on about that, and it was just strange to me. He was what else did I like about his movie as far as the characters? Oh, uh, 90s. Just want to say 90s Tara Strong. He plays Bunny, Bunny, right? I forgot how good looking she was, at least to me. I've never been a fan of her when I see her in movies. Like I remember seeing her in American Pie when I was younger. She was like meh to me. I saw her in Scrubs that I used to watch, the TV show that I used to watch growing up. She was again meh. But watching this I was like, whoa! Like when she said, "I'll suck your D for 1,000," I believed it. But shout out to her, Julianne Moore. I really liked Maud in this movie. Vagina. Yeah, that's just that's a line for this. It's funny that that line is one of the few things that isn't like something people still bring up, because I love that line more than the dude saying mine and all that stuff. She was hilarious just because she was so deadpan. She was so like, oh, I'm trying to conceive, and that's why these stretches they help me with my goals, and yes, it's the best way to inseminate me. What? But I guess that's Maud, and she had useful information that helped out the dude. So I guess in a way, she was probably the most authentic person in this movie. But her and the dude, yeah, the dude never changed. It was more like his sense of place in the world maybe might have changed. Yeah, and I thought that's what they were trying to do at the start of this movie with Mr. Lebowski. I thought, oh, that's what they're going for, like kind of life chances, perspective, which would which resonated with me because of recent events. Obviously with COVID, but recently I found out Chadwick Boseman died. Whether it's famous people or people that I know, um, this year has been interesting in terms of like reflecting on life and how life, even when it's even basic shit, is a privilege because you're living, right? But when you're gone, you ain't coming back. As at least as far as I know, obviously people have their own views on religion and God and all that stuff. Fair enough to each their own. But that's what I liked about what this movie seems to be getting at. That you know what, this guy's immobile, but he's driven. Whereas you seem driven, I guess, about bowling because you care about the championship, but you're just there. You're unemployed. Like, what? I don't understand how you live in your apartment. You should be homeless. You know what I mean? But that's how I perceive the dude in this movie. Him, the other characters like the nihilists who seem like really they are super stupid. But at least I will say this. Another thing that I liked about this movie is the camera work. Like when it showed uh Jesus. I thought his name was gonna be Jesus, but it was Jesus. When they showed Jesus, like, oh, this guy seems like it's gonna be an epic. That's the again, they keep doing that. They keep hyping up things that it turns out to be more mundane than you think. So the dude, oh, he's hyped up. Oh, he's gonna be this. As far as like the bowling part of the movie story is concerned, gonna be this big epic guy. This adversary. Oh no, he's some guy who showed his dick to an 8-year-old. Is it? Yeah, he is. They always deflate something. Jackie Treehorn, the same thing. Like he seemed like a guy. He almost gave me like a mobster vibe, even though he's like a top porn star, porn director, porn person, whatever in LA. He's talking about the passage of time, how, and that again that makes sense. How even when it comes to porn, because like internet downloads, all that stuff, they're taking you for a ride. Which, fair enough, I understand. You're an old school guy that made his living, his livelihood that way. But then his two goons, who, yeah, they're all from Jackie Cheon, they suck. The ones that peed on this carpet. I was like, oh, like, really? This is the best? You afford this nice mansion. These are the best goons you can get. You know what I mean? They keep, for someone like Jackie Cheon, the way he's introduced, the way the camera was on him, like, it reminded me of like some Quentin Tarantino type stuff to some degree. But he's so, through his people that work on his behalf, he's so meh to me. So they always deflate things that you think are meant to be bigger than they are. And then Donnie, what happened to Donnie in the car park? Freaking had a heart attack and died. What the heck? What? He died. I thought he got attacked and he was injured or something. He was bleeding. No, he was having a heart attack. That was so random to me. And he died. I thought it was a fake out. I mean, boy. Yeah, man. That was so surprising to me. But I guess, again, that reinforced how I saw this movie, which is just like Forrest Gump said, just a box of chocolate. It's like, you don't know what you're going to get with each one. Random chocolates. And that's pretty much it. My final thoughts on this movie, guys. It reminded me that life, like I've been saying, is a luxury, right? It's a privilege. That even with the most basic shit, gotta make sure you do the best you can. Obviously, no one's perfect. But I feel like to be someone like the dude, I don't know, I just felt like I would learn a lot. Even though this is meant to be a comedy, it's meant to be something that is not to be taken too seriously. But it's just I think it's the narrator, that was the intent with the narrator, you can tell. It was just like, you know what? Well, things come and go. Donnie died, but a little Lebowski's on the way. That's it, folks. All that stuff. I might get copyrighted for saying that. That's it, folks. And that's how this movie made me feel. Like it was something to be remembered. Like, I don't need to rewatch this movie. In fact, it's a plus. Because rewatching, for me, I'm one of the few people where if I wanted to rewatch a movie multiple times, it's actually a sign that it isn't that good for me. Whereas a movie that I can reflect on, that I don't need to rewatch, is a sign of positivity, that the message has stuck with me. Even if I didn't understand it, a certain way I've perceived it has stuck with me, most likely in a positive way. But tell me what you guys think down below. Did you like this movie? Did you not? If you've seen it, did you not like it? You think it's overrated? One of those overrated movies that I've seen as classics. Would you see this movie, guys? It is quite funny. I would definitely recommend it myself. And it's just, yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Food for thought. Like I said, tell me your thoughts down below. If you like this video, thumbs up. Press that thumbs up button. Feel free to check out my other videos. Salute to you guys. I'm signing off, yeah? See ya.